what's up, and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the graphic novel The Dark Knight 3 The Master Race. As you can see, this is my book that I have, the version I have of it. Now this book does have like various titles. You can either call it like DK3 The Master Race, or you can call it The Dark Knight The Master Race. You know, it has like various titles, you know, but I think they really do call it The Dark Knight 3 The Master Race. But anyway, this is I guess you could say the third book in the overall like Dark Knight series, which was actually created by Frank Miller, because you know he did The Dark Knight Returns in 1986. Then he did The Dark Knight Strikes Again in 2001. Now, of course, everybody knows that The Dark Knight Returns was like a superior, like that was a very good Batman book, you know, like graphic novel. You know, it was like a collection of like I think 4 stories, and that was like an excellent book. But when he got to The Dark Knight Strikes Again, that it wasn't really too good. You know, I didn't really enjoy that one that much. But this right here is a big improvement over The Dark Knight Strikes Again, but it still doesn't come close to The Dark Knight Returns. Now, anyway, this story picks up I think like 3 years after I think Strikes Again. Now, apparently, when the story does start, apparently everybody believes that Batman is dead, like Bruce Wayne is dead. But of course, you know, like spoiler alert, turns out that he really wasn't. You know, he was like kind of, I guess you could say, like in hiding, but he is forced back into like the limelight because of a situation with like this group of like Kryptonians, and they're led by this guy known as Quor. Well, they come from like this shrunken city known as, I think, Kandorian, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, actually it's called Kandor. The shrunken city that is called Kandor, and actually they consider like a model city. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is a part of like the Superman mythos, but I'm not too sure. Well, anyway, it was Superman and Wonder Woman's daughter, Laura, you know, who finds like she finds like this bottled city known as Kandor, and it's like shrunken. So she gets the Autumn, you know, because you know he's capable of like shrinking himself and making himself large. She gets him to help her bring the city back to its like normal size, you know, where the people in it basically, and he somehow manages to do this. But then once the people are freed from the shrunken city and return, and they're Kryptonians too, so they're like Superman, you know, they have like Superman's powers like flight and like the heat vision and all that. But once they return to like their regular size, they decide to actually take over Earth and try to, you know, dominate Earth and want the people of Earth to bow down to them. And their leader is known as, I think, Quor, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Quarian. So you have Quor and I think his 7 children, if I'm not mistaken, and plus like the people of Kandor, they're all turning against Earth, you know. So of course, you know, you have Carrie Kelly. She's actually in the role of Batman at this point, you know, and she does it like a man. She looks like masculine when she's like fighting crime and stuff. But when they find her and they capture her, like the cops and stuff, like Commissioner El Liendo, when they finally capture her, it is revealed that she's actually like a girl, you know, Carrie Kelly, you know. So while being transported, like they actually have to transport Carrie Kelly, they have to actually transport her to like a Blackgate prison. And once they're doing that, that's when she's actually like freed from the from like her clutches, you know, like by I think Batman, if I'm not mistaken. He actually sends, I think, like the Batmobile, if I can remember correctly, to come and save her, and then he brings her back to where he's hiding, where Bruce Wayne is hiding himself, you know, and he's like on a crutch, he's like old and stuff, you know. So it turns out he actually has to team up with like Superman to take out the Kandorians, who are led by Quor. So that's basically what the story about. You have like this like kind of relationship going on with like Laura and her mother, Princess, well, you know, Wonder Woman. They have like this kind of conflict in their relationship where she's not trained and she doesn't want to train with like Wonder Woman, and she has like her own like vendetta against you know, about certain things. Plus at the same time, Laura herself actually joins with Quor and the Kandorians to actually attack Earth and try to take over Earth. Now I thought that part was kind of off, you know, because they didn't really give like enough motivation for Laura herself to actually want to join with the Kandorians. You know, it didn't really make no sense, you know. But in other words, you have like Batman and Superman. They actually have to team up to actually stop this threat. Then they also have Carrie Kelly, who at this point actually switches into the role of Batgirl, like a new Batgirl, you know, so they all have to team up, you know. Then you have like other heroes like the Flash, the Green Lantern, and all that. The Autumn, you know, Aquaman, Autumn like show up, you know, like to help too. And then at one point they all get injured too. Well, I don't think Aquaman did, but I know the Autumn did. I know the Green Lantern did, and the Flash did. I was kind of surprised at the injuries that they received too as well, you know. But they did have some like cool ideas in the story too as well, you know. There's like a scene with like being that all these like Kandorians or like Kryptonians, you know, they actually had the like Batman himself, he actually had to use like synthetic kryptonite, almost like it was like raining, like kryptonite is like raining, you know, like a shower, almost like a kryptonite shower. You know, he had to use that on all these Kandorians. You know, he actually weakened them and wounded them. You know, and then at one point, Superman himself actually had to, he actually had to put on armor, just like the same armor that, you know, like Batman had to wear when they had their fight in the Dark Knight Returns, because even he wears that armor too as well, like Batman. He puts on like the armor again, you know. So then Superman puts on this armor, like this armor very similar to that, to protect him from like the kryptonite shower. And I thought that scene was kind of cool, you know, that they actually had to use this whole kryptonite shower to actually weaken these Kandorians, you know, because they are basically a bunch of like Supermans, you know, or Superwomans, you know. You also get to see like a couple other characters from like the previous stories, like the Dark Knight Returns, you know, like the Bruno returns, you know, I don't want to spoil, but she kind of returns, like, I guess you could say like in a cameo appearance. There's also a big death in this story too that I was kind of surprised. You know, like, whoa, I couldn't believe they killed this character off, you know. And I think it's going to be like grounded, you know, being that this is considered, I think, like an S-World series. So I believe they will actually keep the death of this character. And I believe that she really was dead, you know, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, another thing too, so basically this is a story about like Superman and Batman and various other heroes teaming up to stop these Kryptonians. And plus at the same time you have the Kryptonians, they actually want to seek out Superman and Batman and so on. You know, it's kind of a complicated story. It can be kind of like often kind of sloppy at times, but it's still okay. I enjoyed it. It's a big improvement over the Dark Knight Strikes Again. It was a big improvement over that, but it still doesn't come close to like the Dark Knight Returns, you know. And there's also this situation in the story, which was cool. It's an awesome idea, and I'm glad that Franco, you know, that whoever like the creators actually chose to do this, you know. But I'm kind of against what they did, you know. And you can tell it's also setting up room for like another Dark Knight book, you know. I won't be surprised if they do like another one down the line, you know. But yeah. Now this particular version, I had of it collected like the 9-issue stories, you know, like the 9 issues, and then it had like some mini-series stories too as well. It was a bunch of those too in here too, but it wasn't really long as the actual like issues, you know. But overall, the Dark Knight 3, the Master Race, I think I'm gonna be aiming at giving this a B minus. I thought like the story was good between like Frank Miller. It wasn't like great, you know, but I thought like the writing of it was good. Then like you have like the other creators like Brian Azzarello, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and like some of the other ones too, but I'm not gonna touch on them. I thought the artwork was kind of okay, you know, it wasn't too great. I thought Superman did it better than he did in the previous other stories, or even like Batman to a certain extent. Like their artwork, I thought they looked kind of better, you know, like better designs, you know. And plus they had like various artists working on each issue and each like minute story too as well. So it constantly kept changing how they looking and everything, you know. But overall, I thought it was still like an entertaining, you know, book. And like I said, I mean, story. But at the same time, I won't be surprised if it's like another one, you know. I won't be surprised to actually bring in another one, you know. But anyway, that's my review for Batman: The Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. I'm giving this a B minus. Please give me your thoughts and comments on this title as well, and subscribe as well too. Thanks.